It seems Mitch Marner's time in Toronto is over. I think we already were expecting that, but I think we were waiting for some kind of confirmation. Andy Strickland is putting that out there right now, and I think he has a lot on the line too, so I don't know why he would put this out there if he wasn't 1,000,000% confident, but he says, can confirm Mitch Marner will not be returning to Toronto, will be playing for a new team come next season. He also says Marner leaving Toronto could open the door for Tavares to return. Heading into the season, the Leafs were expected to allow the veteran center to walk. With Marner leaving, the mindset has changed. I always thought Tavares was coming back just based on what I heard, what I've seen. That was my feeling on the situation. Mitch Marner leaving, I don't think we're overly shocked. But I will say, I want to wait and see. I do think Andy Strickland's got quite the following, and he's got like his integrity to worry about, and like he's not going to put this out there. I don't think, unless he's 1,000,000%. Like he knows the reaction it's going to bring. So we'll see. I do know in the past he's made some errors, but I'm putting his name out there and citing who reported it, which is Andy Strickland. So Mitch Marner, is he going to be gone? So my statement was this just now. If Mitch Marner is truly gone, this is one of the most mismanaged star player situations, and it all comes back to Brendan Shanahan. Brendan Shanahan's no longer with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I feel more confident and better about saying this and just looking back, because the thing is, when a guy is within an organization still, he has time to fix it, right? Like if Brendan Shanahan was staying, you could be frustrated with it, but like you could also see what he's going to do about it. I've heard so many stories and so many different things regarding like this situation, and of course Kyle Dubas was like, he liked Mitch Marner. He was a favorite of Mitch Marner, but I think at one point he was ready to move one of the big guys and maybe even Mitch Marner, and Brendan Shanahan just wasn't about it. He's got the relationship with many guys on this team. He used to play with William Nylander's dad, Michael Nylander, so he's very tied to these guys. Like he was very much part of when these guys got drafted. He started from the bottom with the organization. So I understand why Brendan Shanahan got attached to these guys, because these guys kind of revived the organization in a lot of ways, right? Like if you look at the early 2010s, the 2013 collapse, and a lot of other things that happened up until Austin Matthews got drafted, a lot of shameful stuff, right? Especially for the performance on the ice. So it's been consistent playoff appearances. It's been consistent successful seasons. Of course, only a couple second round appearances and not enough, nowhere near enough success when it comes to playoff time and when it matters. So I don't think we're shocked Mitch Marner's going. That's why in this video also, I'm going to go over my updated top teams for Mitch Marner and rank them basically from 1 to 10, 10 being like the best fit and most likely from what I'm hearing and understanding. Let's go through it. So Florida, I know people are not wanting to hear that. I would say I would give this about a 4 or 5. I think this is more of the fit and the connections that could come with it. It seems like Sam Bennett is going to be back. So the only way they would afford Mitch Marner is if they don't bring back Ekblad and they move a couple pieces. One being like an Evan Rodriguez. If they could move Evan Rodriguez, sign Bennett to about $8 million, maybe have to make one other move on top of that. They're not bringing back Brad Marchand in that situation. I think if Ekblad hits the open market, it's probably going to be a scenario of you bring back Bennett and Marchand, or you go after another forward. My hot take was you reunite the London Knights line in Florida, which is Christian Dvorak, Mitch Marner, and Matthew Tkachuk. And then you could have a third line of Luce Lorraine and Lundell Bennett. Like, that would be nuts. I don't think the Panthers are actually going to do that. But I'm just saying, it's a hot take. You could also do Bennett, Marner, and Tkachuk, and that would be ridiculous. But anyways, besides the point, I think the Panthers are an option. I think Tkachuk was marketing a little bit to Marner after they got eliminated. Besides the point, I do think they are a potential for Marner in terms of the competitive window. I think Marner wants the big money, but he also wants a winning team. That's where I'm questioning the Carolina Hurricanes. Does Marner believe they're a winning team? A lot of people are telling me and have told, whether it's on socials or their people in their circle, why would Marner sign in Carolina if he nixed that deal prior to the deadline? I'll give you 2 reasons. One, the timing was pretty brutal on a personal basis. Mitch Marner's wife was having a baby. She was pregnant. Moving far from Toronto, fairly far, and like quick plane ride, I get all that. They have the accessibility to travel. I understand that. But for the rest of the season, it would have been tough. Marner also like any of us, didn't know what was going to happen the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. I'm not out here defending Mitch Marner, but what I am saying is, on a personal basis, on a human being basis, I think we can get why he could maybe nix the deal then and accept now. I'm not saying I'm defending it, because I think I would be rightfully pissed, and a lot of people would be pissed if he goes to Carolina now. I think it's an optics thing. I think it's, how do you look in the city of Toronto, where you're from? You should have a little bit of understanding of that. And why would you want to be hated by your hometown team? So I think the sign-in trade should still be on the table. It should be on the table for him. I disagree with his camp and all the voices that are in his head right now telling him to stick it to Toronto, which should have never been the case for Mitch Marner. But Carolina is a possibility, because it seems like they're going to offer over $14 million a year, and him next to Aho and Svechnikov could actually work. It could actually be a good fit. So on a fit basis, on a team that's in a window to compete, and for the big money, because Carolina has the flexibility, I'll give it a 6. LA, I'm going to give it a 7, just one up. I've changed my tune. I actually think Marner could go out west for a couple reasons. One, far from the market, won't have to play Toronto more than 2 times a year, only will have to come to Toronto once. And 2, I think LA is that team that just needs that bump. They just need that last piece to get them over the hump. If they keep playing Edmonton, it might be rough, but I'm just saying that I do think that LA could be a fit. And Elliot Friedman, I do trust what Fried says. He's saying that if he does leave Toronto, it's more likely he goes to a Western Conference team. So that changes things for me. And that's where Vegas comes in. I'm going to give Vegas a 9. I actually think right now my predictions changed a little bit. I was on the lens of Carolina or Pittsburgh for staying somewhat close to home, but also a change of scenery. Pittsburgh, I thought maybe playing with Sidney Crosby, but it wouldn't be too bad to play with Jack Eichel, I feel like. That's not too much of a drop-off from playing with Austin Matthews. So I think for Marner, he wants to keep that production up. He wants to show his value. I also think with the tax situation, the area, how people have talked about Vegas, I think they're in a cup window still, and Marner could go there if they give him the right amount of money. Nashville, I'm going to give it a little bit of a lower ranking. They would have to create cap flexibility. It seems like they're maybe going to move Marchessault and a couple other pieces. I just feel like I visualize Marner in Nashville and his wife and just that family. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm going to give it a lower ranking in terms of likeliness and fit, but I wanted to put it on the list. Them and Minnesota. I think Minnesota and Nashville are very much less likely, but I feel like in terms of fit, in terms of window that's opening for Minnesota as well, it's a possibility. Pittsburgh, again, the Kyle Dubas familiarity. I think it's less likely in terms of the cap availability. If they moved Erik Karlsson, it's possible. I'm going to give this like a 3. Probably the last 3 teams a 3 in terms of the ranking. San Jose, I'm actually going to give a 6. I think whether it's Patrick Marleau's spot or just the ability to pay him big, I don't know if the Sharks would do it, but I could see the Sharks paying or offering big. I mean, once upon a time, they tried to sway John Tavares. Why not sway Mitch Marner? I think Marner would maybe consider San Jose. Anaheim, I don't have on this list. Spoiler alert. I don't know. I don't know if Marner goes there. But after the Kreider edition, you never know. I haven't seen enough connections to Anaheim with Mitch Marner that I'm going to put him on the list. Maybe I should have. So add all the California teams. I'll just say it. I don't want to exclude Anaheim and then he signs with Anaheim, but include Anaheim. I just would have Anaheim as the 3rd team he would most likely go to, in my opinion. So back to Florida. So to give you guys the top 3 destinations in my head right now, I think Carolina's 3, LA 2, and Golden Knights 1. I think that's a fair kind of situation where we're at right now. Throw Anaheim in there as well. That's probably the only other team I forgot that I feel like could go after him, and maybe if they offer him 15, 16 million, you never know. But anyways, guys, give me your thoughts on the Marner situation. I think it's such a mismanaged situation. It's such a mess. Like, I was on the path of being ready to move on from Marner back in 21, 22. Like, by 2022, like, after watching what transpired there 3 years in a row, I was ready to move on. You guys saw it. You guys saw it on the streams. You saw it on the rant videos. I wanted the trades. I was talking trades for so long on Mitch Marner, and everyone said, you're dumb. You're not going to get superstars like this for free, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you're losing a superstar, if you want to call Marner a star, for nothing. And that's why I wanted to trade him back then, because I was worried about this exact same situation right now. I was worried about this situation right now, and people called me crazy for worrying about it. Well, we're in it right now. We are living it right now. Mitch Marner always should have been traded back then, because not only was the core four, the paying the top four guys a problem, it was year after year the performance in the playoffs. And once Nylander finally showed in 2022 that he, or like in around that area, that he was the guy stepping up, like 2022, 2023 specifically, it should have been Marner moving on. It should have 100%. So, anyways, I'm not going to keep beating the same drum. We'll see if Mitch Marner truly does leave Toronto. It seems like that's where it's headed. I think we all figured that, but Andy Strickland is a bigger name on Hockey X, and just putting a statement out like that is pretty solidified. So anyways, thanks guys. Hit that subscribe. I really do appreciate all the people subscribing to the hockey content. Hit that like, notification bell, comment down below. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.